This Land Cruiser has some electrical problems.
This system's complex and it had enough of what's happening inside.
The right passenger window doesn't work. And the comfort ECU isn't happy either.
And the central locking system does its own thing.
Has a bit of a time delay. Extra lights, a winch, and probably 500 meters of wiring in here.
I've got the manuals, I've got the tools. But we are essentially looking for a needle in a haystack. I have to find out if this is actually fixable.
Or a complete electronical nightmare. What we have here is, as mentioned, the 100 series in the intro. It has a little bit of an electric problem. I mean, as you see, the car is cut and a built overlander. And I mean, it looks really, really awesome. But we have some problems with the door ECU, the DEFT, the power windows, the central locking system. And yeah, I think that will be a little bit of a hassle to see what the problem is. The actual problem means communication stop and GNT short. So it has a short somewhere. But I have to look how the wires are in there and what could be the failure point. And yeah, we will see what the problem is. I mean, it should be somewhere a broken connection or a short, what actually is also a broken connection. But we will see how the wires are in there. Because as I said, it is overland built, so the wires are cut at some point somewhere. We will figure it out. So the first thing we do now is we will get out the seats, the carpet, the two door panels, everything so I can access the wiring loom. As we see here, I got out everything and also down there and also on the other side, on the passenger side. And the thing about this car was what didn't work was the right power window, more or less the central locking system, and also the tilt function of the steering wheel also had some, let's say, flaws. But we'll get into it why it is like that. When we go to the back of the car, here we have the back and here we have the cabin actually, we will see they put in a switch. That's the switch. What does that switch do? So when you get into the car, you want to sleep in it and you want to lock it. That's the switch to lock the car from the back. But the switch has to be connected to somewhere, and that's more or less the reason why. I mean, if it would be like a 2000 model, no problem. But the thing, it's a 2005, and that is where the problem actually sits. But I will show you that on the wiring plan of the car. Here we have the wiring plan, also the original Toyota wiring book, and the second book for it. It is on German, so I will describe it for you. That thing here is on the left side, the master door switch. That's body ECU, that is anti-theft, rain sensor and wiper control. Here we have seat, mirror and Schwenk-Auszieh ECU. That's not important for us. The important thing about what they did is, here we have the switch on the left door, on the driver door. Here we have the body ECU. When we see or look, we see here full line and here we see a dotted line. Left door, right door. And there is mehrfach, Einwegsignal mehrfach. Mehrfach means multiple signals and Einweg means one-way signal. So between the window master switch and the body ECU is a multiple signal, so a CAN bus. And also between the anti-theft system, what is connected to the transponder of the key. What did they do? When we look at our 2005 wiring plan from the left door, we see here power window master. That's the control switch. Here we see body ECU. That's the body ECU. And here we see MPX1 going to the power master window switch. So, and that's the important thing. Here we have lock unlock, what is actually part of the power master switch. If you look actually in the car, I will show you the panel. Here we have the panel. Here we see lock unlock of the car. That's window lock, left, right, the rear we don't have anymore. So, and here we see a 20-pin connector. Important thing is because the earlier ones had a different connector because they didn't have a CAN bus. Or a bean bus, it's not a CAN bus. Back to the wiring plan. When we go back to the wiring plan, we see here this lock. And here we see a blue and a green wire. So, into this blue and green wire, they put the wire from the rear switch. It goes one turn full through the car and is connected to that power master switch. So, what was the problem? The actual problem is when we connect a 12 volt source to a CAN bus, yeah, the CAN bus is kind of the error code was, if we look it up, B1215 door system communication bus malfunction G&D short. What actually means there was a short on it because they draw power from somewhere in the car. I think it's battery power they put back and then they put it over a switch. So they had always a constant 12 volt source on the CAN bus, or let's say an intermediate one. Not the best solution. That was for sure the fault of door system communication bus malfunction G&D short. There is already a new body ACU in it and a new power master switch. I assume the new power master switch is already shot again because there are some IC transistors in it and they are not meant for that kind of power. But with getting that out, also we had a second problem. The second problem was, if we look on the wiring plan, we see here, we are here now on the right side of the car. Because it has a fuse box on the left side and the right side. When we go now into the right side of the car, we see here a red cable. That red cable goes into the middle of the car for a switch for the winch. It was connected to the dome. The dome fuse is this one, and that one was connected with that to the dome fuse. So, what's the problem with the dome fuse? It's the second problem. Because on the dome fuse, if we look on the wiring plan, wait a moment, and we look on the wiring plan, we have here the 10 amp dome fuse. The 10 amp dome fuse supplies power to the dome relay. So, and the dome relay is connected to the body ACU. So, what does the dome relay actually do? The dome relay also is connected to the body ACU and is on this car. It's a 2005 with everything in it. It's for the coming home, living home function more or less. It's not coming home, living home. It's a Volkswagen term. But it is also connected to the body ACU because, as I showed you before, everything in this car is connected to the bus somehow. Everything on the interior has a bus connection, and the problem is you can't draw power from somewhere or something that is connected to the bus connection, because there will always be a logic problem with the bus afterwards, and the body ACU will have problems to figure out what is the problem and throws our error code. On the left side now we see here on the bottom lots of cables someone put in. It's actually not part of the problem, but I have to get isolation over it and just put it in the right way so nothing happens. Actually, the 100 series is already kind of complicated, not as complicated as real modern cars, but already complicated. And the thing is, actually you can draw power from somewhere down there or somewhere down there, because it can lead to certain problems. Also, ground is a thing on these cars, ground problems, and the grounds are actually here on the other side and here under the seat. You have the grounds for body ACU and everything what is kind of in front of it. What I do now, I already fixed the problem with the power master switch. I know the power master switch is kind of fried. Why? We'll show you. Carpet in, seat in, and then I show you what the problem is with the power master switch, because on the seat is the airbag. And we don't want to have a airbag malfunction. Probably you have some problem on your own with the power master switch. The power master switch actually is often a problem on these cars, especially the later ones with the CAN bus. But I show you that. I have the carpet in, and also got the wiring underneath it and isolated everything and put it nice and tight there. Here we have the carpet. Here we have, that's just a heater, and that's actually the cable for the seat. And now we'll put in the seat, and then I will show you what is with the central locking system when I connected the seat and I hooked back up the batteries. Batteries hooked up. First of all, we get the key in, and when we get the key in, normally the steering wheel, the tilt function should work. So tilt works. Woohoo! First win. And then we have the driver's side window. I should get ignition on, right? Ignition is on. So, driver's side window works also, up and down. So, and the last thing we have then is the central locking system, and that's the funny one. I close the passenger door and then I show you. So if I push the button, it works instantly. So, and then I push unlock. Takes probably 2 seconds to unlock the car. So, and now we will try something. What I did now is I unhooked the master switch. Whoop. There is the unhooked master switch, and now we go to the light. Let's push unlock. It works instantly. Why is that? So I took the master switch out of the equation, the door is open and the master switch is unhooked. What means I'm pretty sure they fried something in the master switch, and when you open the master switch you see a lot of chips in there. So, and there is actually a no diagnostic. For sure you can send it somewhere to repair it. I assume the master switch is already again damaged, because on the CAN bus there is no fuse, so it's kind of problematic. The thing is, they hooked it in there, hooked it into the CAN bus and fried something, because the CAN bus, the only thing it can do when he detects something like he had with that error code, he shut down everything. So no window opened, no door lock function, no tilt functions. He just put in like a safety function, so no further harm can be done. But I assume there is already again something damaged, what kind of sucks. But could have been worse. I mean, I searched for a long time. When I just show it on like the wiring plan of the car, it is pretty easy like to follow everything. But I mean, you have to find it in the first place. What is the problem? And go through the wiring plan and start like with the fuse box in the front. So you have here the fuses for alternator and everything. Then you go to the fuse box. Then you go from the fuse box to the left fuse box, from the left fuse box to the door, from the door to the fuse box to the right fuse box. Then you go, in that case, on the switch. Look, where is the switch? Where goes the cable? What are the measurements? I had the Toyota manual, so I could measure every cable, what should be the resistance and everything. I found some cables where they, clipped something into it. I erased it and connected them back together as it should be. But the last problem that stays is the time lagging central locking system, and I assume it's the master switch. Kinda sucks. I will get the car now together and then we make a little walkthrough through the car, because this car is so well made. It just looks fantastic. I mean, it is for sure one of the best looking 100 series campers I ever had here.
Shoot at the lights. Got a couple 40s full of pops and fun.
Now we are on our test drive. Afterwards I will get in with the tester again and look if there is no fault code, but everything works, so I assume there is none.
We're gonna paint the night red. Hoot and holler till we're dead. We're down to turn up. We're up to get down, saying hey.
So as I said, we look at that thing. The car has a 2.5 inch lift, 2.5 in the rear and 2 in the front. Because of the independent front suspension on the 100 series, you can't get actually higher than that. It looks awesome. It's also triple locked with RB lockers, front rear. Has a snorkel and pretty awesome actually arrangement of things inside with kitchen, and you can lay in there. It has a pop-up roof. It's from like engineering standpoint or mechanic standpoint, it is a well thought through machine. It is just It drives so nice. I mean, it is not rattly in the inside or loud. It just drives like a 100 series normally drive. And actually, I'm now already sitting in a car that has no code on it. I looked again with the tester in it. Everything works as it's supposed to work, besides the laggy central locking system. And that's actually was it with this episode of Ranching. Just searching for some electric gremlins. It was not that excited, I know that. But if you liked the episode, please hit the like button, subscribe, and we see us the next time.
Let's get